Okay, so we're leaving off with the uh, the last um, couple archetypes that we covered: hunting group of companion and loyal retainers. There are two more groups that really help out the hero. Those are the friendly beast. The friendly beast is the animal that assists the hero. The reason why this is important is the friendly beast shows us that nature and the things that we relate with nature, those are things that support the hero in the hero's quest. So when the author is trying to show that connection between the hero and the nature that he lives within, he will often have a friendly beast assist the hero. You know, Hedwig, even to a certain extent, the house elves in later Harry Potter series. Those are kind of showing that not just humans, but other things are supporting the hero, and that kind of gives them more clout within the story. Finally, for the hero is the herald. The herald is the character that announces the beginning of the hero's journey by jolting the hero in his initial setting out of the sleepy equilibrium. Since we're reading Harry Potter right now, it's Hagrid. When Hagrid pounds that door down and tells him, "You're a wizard, Harry," um, that's exactly what Hagrid's doing. He is announcing to the world, and to Harry in particular, that you are to become a hero. You are no longer allowed to stay in that state of sleepy equilibrium. That state of sleepy equilibrium, if you go to Campbell's monomyth, this is where the character is before they cross the first threshold. It says at the beginning, nota bene, the herald might not be a character, but it could be an event or a force that is what pushes the character, the hero, into action. Now we get to the enemies. The archenemy is the greatest threat to the hero. They are seeking the greatest evil, and they have a personal grudge against the hero. They often have caused a traumatic event. Sorry about that. In the hero's, sorry about that. That should be an apostrophe. Life. There are countless throughout the superhero comics. Lex Luthor, the Joker, all of those types of characters. There's also Emperor Zurg from Toy Story, Syndrome from The Incredibles, Plankton. One of the things about the arch enemy that makes him different from the other characters is the arch enemy has a direct relationship with the hero. Um, that's going to be contradictory to this next one. That's the Dark Lord. The Dark Lord is a diabolical force, a malevolent ruler. They are the ultimate personification of evil. They commit atrocities that make people afraid to even speak their name. So, if you go back, Voldemort, for everybody but Harry, Voldemort fits this Dark Lord. Because Voldemort has a personal vendetta against Harry, it doesn't always fit. In the comic book series Bone, the Lord of the Locusts, the Lord of the Locusts has no interest in the protagonist. He is just an evil guy. That's what makes him the Dark Lord. The Lich King from, I can't even remember. Is that Halo? I don't know. One of the video games. The Sith Lords from Star Wars. They don't care about your everyday average citizen of the Empire. They are just evil. So this is the character that is the personification of evil. Whereas the archenemy is evil, but they have a grudge against the hero. The Dark Lord doesn't have time for the hero. He's got worse things to deal with. He's got more people to kill than just the hero. Now we're getting into characters that are not always going to be pure villains. We get into the really gray area of everything. There's the femme fatale. They are mysterious, seductive women. They charm others into compromising, dangerous, or even deadly situations. They are very attractive, and they lure others into dangerous situations that she already faces. In Dark Knight Rises, this is Catwoman. Catwoman is not a pure villain. She does bad things, but she also does good things. She is just the femme fatale. Femme meaning woman, fatale meaning deadly. Um, she puts Batman into situations that can cause his death, but she's not really trying to kill Batman. She's just out for her own gain. Um, she's trying to get out of the dangerous situation that she already faces, and she uses Batman to do that. There's the Threshold Guardian. This is not necessarily the antagonist, but the first obstacle the hero must face in their quest. The role of the Threshold Guardian is to test the hero's mettle, M-E-T-T-L-E, and worthiness to begin the story's journey, and to show that the journey will not be easy. Sometimes, and I would almost go so far as to say often, the Threshold Guardian may prove in the end to be the ally of the hero. This is Little John in Robin Hood. When Robin Hood returns to Sherwood Forest, he faces off with Little John. Little John doesn't believe that Robin Hood is who he says he is. So they have to square off in kind of a duel-like situation. Once Robin Hood proves who he is, Little John is his closest number one ally. But Robin Hood is forced as the hero to prove to the Threshold Guardian that he is worthy. That's what allows him to kind of continue on the path to become a hero. Like I said, Little John is that example where once Little John, as the Threshold Guardian, recognizes the hero for who he is, then they are allies. But it is the first obstacle. Now there are the kind of additional characters. They're neither the hero nor the villain. They're kind of your secondary or maybe even third level of characters. First, there is the absent-minded professor. This is the talented academic whose focus on academics allows them to ignore their surroundings. They are socially inept. This is the really smart scientist that needs the cunning secret agent to help them save the day. Um, this is, all of the, if you think to the movie Independence Day, Jeff Goldblum, he doesn't know what he's doing. He needs Will Smith as the dangerous fighter pilot to help him save the day. Damsel in distress. The damsel in distress is the young, beautiful woman that is placed in a dire predicament. They are the reason why the hero needs to become a hero. The hero needs to go out and save that damsel. There is the girl or the boy next door. They are this unassuming, idealized, wholesome person. They're whereas the femme fatale might be the fun person to go out with, the girl or the boy next door is the person that your parents want you to go out with. Now, often this will turn into the ugly duckling situation, but we'll talk about that later. Next is the hotshot. The hotshot is the one that takes risks simply for the fun of taking risks. They're arrogant, they're aggressive, they're a loner. I already talked about him earlier when I called him a reluctant hero, but again, hotshot, that could be Han Solo. Um, he's the arrogant, aggressive loner. He's a scruffy-looking nerf herder. That's just what he does. The last couple that I need to talk about are characters that have racist origins. In no way am I trying to endorse the racism that created these characters. But Western literature started a really long time ago. It started when racism was really welcome within literature. Even today, with authors who I don't think have any racist intention, will use some of these characters kind of unwittingly. The first is what I simply call, to avoid using more upsetting terms, is the magical African American friend. This is a character that uses special insight to help the white protagonist get out of trouble. They are often in some way disabled. They have no past. They are patient and wise. They are ultimately, at the end of the day, subordinate to the white character. Bubba in Forrest Gump. Bubba provides insight that Forrest Gump uses to continue on. Bubba really has no worthwhile past. He dies so he doesn't, carry on into the future. Forrest is always the most important character. Will Smith's character in Legend of Bagger Vance. There are a lot of characters where the black guy doesn't matter, but he tells the white guy how to save the day. This is a very historic character archetype. The next is the noble savage. The noble savage in Romanticism was seen as like a really progressive, really positive way to view Native Americans, but it's nature's gentlemen. They are closer to nature, and therefore they have a truer sense of humanity. They're the idealized concept of uncivilized man. They are therefore immune to the corrupting influences of civilization. A lot of you guys learned about Romanticism last year, and the idea of you reconnect with nature, and that allows you to escape from civilization because civilization makes us less human, and it's a connection to nature that makes us more human. This continues forward to the point where if somebody is completely isolated from civilization, they therefore will be more truly human. What the authors in the Romantic period saw was those most excluded from modern white civilization were Native Americans. So Native Americans were, in this way, objectified in a trying to be positive manner of saying that they are more purely human because they are so uncivilized. This is a character that's used time and again. It's no longer just reserved for Native Americans, but it's anybody who kind of lives off the grid. It still has the archetypal name of noble savage because of this racist origin. Finally, there's what's known as the Mammy character. It's called Mammy because that was the name given to this character. Like in the script, their name was Mammy. They are a domestic servant. They are good-natured. Often they are overweight and loud. They act as a motherly figure to a white child due to the death of the mother or the simple absence of the mother emotionally. Calpurnia from To Kill a Mockingbird. Again, To Kill a Mockingbird is an anti-racist book, but Calpurnia fits into this mammy model because this was how a lot of white society, especially in the South, viewed African American women. That's how they viewed their role. Um, in the movie The Help, which came out just recently, you kind of see a duality of women who, when white women are around, are forced to adopt a mammy role, but you see them outside of white society and they take on very different characteristics. That was an attempt to show how kind of the archetype of mammy dictated um, how real people interacted. These are the archetypes that you will find exist within literature. Some of them have really dangerous racist origins. Some of them have sexist origins, like the femme fatale. Whether or not we agree or like where these character types come from, these character types exist. And you can do a better literary criticism if you kind of are able to see these connections in different characters. So that's it. I'm not going to give any definite answer to some question because I don't want to mess up again. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you have any questions on any of these archetypes.